The fourth insight of the Celestine Prophecy, the struggle for power. Stealing energy. We steal energy from each other in our everyday interactions. This act is the source of all conflict because at some point, the loser of the energy no longer has enough energy to give away and then lashes out. Each interaction has a winner and a loser. Stronger, weaker, victim, victor. We will say whatever to prevail in the conversation to win. The desire to win the manipulation is more than external gain. It satisfies an internal psychological boost to have your viewpoint prevail. So think about political arguments, religious arguments, arguments about sports, and how much we fight at each other and we keep fighting and fighting to get our way. But for what? All of us want to control reality. And we want to ensure that everyone around us subscribes to the reality that we subscribe to. And we all do it to a certain extent or another. In fact, almost any conversation is us synchronizing or comparing our version of reality and our perception of reality to another person's. But sometimes it's even more subtle than that. Sometimes you might say little tiny things just to make the other person feel bad. Or if you're the recipient of the other person talking to you, you might say throw in little jabs or other things to take energy, make another person feel less, so in return you could feed off of them involuntarily or sometimes voluntarily giving their energy away to you. Most people are unaware that we steal other people's energy. And some of them go about their lives in a hunt for other people's energy, and they don't even realize it. Sometimes, with things like tough love, we say we are doing things for someone's own good. But that traumatic experience that we put that person through does not stop the loss of energy that they experience. And thus, these acts will shape their lives sometimes in a detrimental manner. There are also other kinds of people. There are people who will volunteer their energy to others. Now this is nice, but people aren't strong enough to keep doing this, and many relationships turn into power struggles. To get an example of this, just think about the girl who always calls the other girl to vent about her boyfriend or her job or something else all the time, but it's always a one-way street where the person on the other end is always receiving and listening to the person who's venting all the time. At some point, the person who's always doing the listening may have their own stuff that they need to vent out, and if the person that is so accustomed and so conditioned to having that one-way street, if they don't meet that other person halfway there might be some kind of a conflict or a poor energy exchange and possibly even a damage to the relationship. You could only give your energy away for so long, and at some point you'll become depleted of all your energy and you'll need to receive it from somebody else if your method of acquiring energy is in a person-to-person method. We know humans are violent towards one another, but why? It is the competition for the scarce human-to-human energy instead of receiving the universal energy. Origins of conflict: being dominated, lashing out, controlling others. And then you pass this down to your children, and the cycle repeats. When we control another human being, we receive their energy. We fill up at the other's expense. That filling up is the motivator. The universal energy. The third insight revealed to us that the universe is a vast system of energy. The fourth insight reveals that people are competing for scarce person-to-person energy, which is the source of all conflict, from petty arguments to large-scale wars. When nice people realize this, they will seek other sources. They will seek the universal source of energy, an abundant source. Harnessing this abundant source will significantly reduce human-to-human conflict and enable us to experience our higher self. Coincidences. This is a rehashed concept from the previous insights, but coincidences will occur regularly. But when they do, you need to be aware and notice when they happen. All events are preparation for future events. And from my perspective, the coincidences are always occurring. They don't just occur every now and then. Every moment is the story unfolding. Past lives. Will mentions one of the insights have to do with your past life and what you're doing here on the planet now. I could resonate with that. I do recall choosing my life in the afterlife dimension. And I am here to bring the concept of choosing our lives and voluntary existence to everyone's awareness. The ninth insight does state that bringing our birth vision to this dimension is our human mission. This concludes my notes for the fourth insight. Subscribe to be notified when my notes on the fifth insight are uploaded.